malheureusement Afrique sans fric. Oh, naso idée. Naso idée. Yendenika. Mais oui, c'est comme ça. Eh oui.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Now You Know Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Stuck in the Middle. I feel like whenever we say Stuck in the Middle, we should start wiring money to the account there because that name like that we say it every single week. Anyway, you can check us out on Twitter at Now You Know One, and we are also on Instagram under NYK Podcasts. I feel like one of these days we need to find a way to consolidate those accounts. That way it's all that one name. We can easily to find us. My name is Bell, and I'm here with Aristide, Blesso, and Carson. How are you guys doing?
Not bad. We're doing good.
Happy to hear them.
I've eaten, so I'm okay.
Nah.
Okay, I feel good, man. Thank God.
Okay, that's what's up. So tonight we have some very, very special guests. We have Nadia Ikemi. She is a Cameroonian and a student. She's currently studying Information System Management and Marketing at UMGC. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you. Uncle is a Ikemi.
That's what I said now. Ikeme, it's like my Oshe accent.
The
It's
one
okay.
in the end.
It's okay. I mean, if I said Ikeme, you know, Halamina.
No, it's okay. Ikemi. You have tried.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We also have a Ghanaian in the house. He goes by Kelly Ketote, aka Mac. He is a social entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Black Star Revolution. Welcome, sir.
Charlie, welcome.
In the house, B.
How far?
You know.
Did you eat that thing today, boy egg today?
Yeah, and jollof.
Goat's meat.
You said bushmeat.
Wait, hold on. Why do Ghanaians eat boy egg with everything?
Everything.
Hot dogs.
Everything.
Like this guy posted his cereal and he had 2 eggs next to it.
Exactly.
Eggs and cereal?
Cereal, pa? It's like, are you?
And boiled egg.
He's very desperate then.
Wow.
I wouldn't go that far, man. That's just killing it.
That's crazy.
You got to get that protein anyhow, man.
I'm telling you.
I feel you. You can tell that he didn't get protein when he was a baby, so he's catching up.
Is that?
Oh man,
man.
That's what's up. I mean, we have most of us in here are Cameroonians. We have one Ghanaian. And tonight's episode, we're talking about the African way, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, it depends on which side of the coin you're on. So, I'm gonna jump right into it. Right, African leaders, why do they hang on to power for so long?
I think it's greed.
There you go.
Greed.
It's greed. You know, when people taste power, they don't want to let it go. And being in a place where nobody can, we don't have a system that can get rid of those people. They have no choice than to be there forever. For example, in America, right? So we have 4 terms, and then if you're reelected, you have 4 more terms. That's because the American system is set up that way. But in Africa, when you're in power, we don't have a system that can kick you out. So you can just change things the way you want it to. You can extend the time where you're in the presidency for. So I mean, people that are greedy, when they taste power, they don't want to let it go because of the good things that comes with the power.
It's sort of like when they say, when you go black, you can't go back.
Right.
That's your own comparison.
That's funny, man.
That's really your comparison. Hey.
Would you mind
On the serious
elaborating?
note, though. No,
Maryland school system has failed you.
On the serious note, yeah. But I agree with Blesso, though. I think it's mainly greed. When people get exposed to that type of power and to see how they can control things and control a whole nation and the whole economy, they want to stay in that position of power. So it's for me, it's definitely greed, just like the way Blesso said.
Mhm.
I don't think it's just greed. It's because we lack leaders. If I say we lack leaders, it's because we as the citizenry are sheepish, and we are sheepish not just because we choose to be, but because we've been programmed to be that way, or we've allowed ourselves to be programmed to be that way. And much of it is because of we are impoverished as well. The continent of Africa, you realize that there's a lot of poverty, so people are desperate. And when people are desperate, what do? They think of what they can eat first. And these people, they throw trinkets. What they give them is just nothing. People come and they do elections, they give you a bicycle, and because of that, you think that you've earned something. Or they give you a bag of rice, and you think you've earned something. So it's extremely important that we as a people, especially our generation, your generation, my generation, we reverse that. The United States of America and the West are the way they are because of the system that they have. The people are very empowered. Even children in this country are very empowered. Okay, you're not taught to obey before, you're taught to be your own person, think for yourself, have your own mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's what our generation have to do. And we pretty much, that's what Black Star Revolution is about. So we're trying to bring that about in terms of business, in terms of knowledge, and then make it where it's sexy to be, it's very important. Make it where it's cool to be knowledgeable, to be smart, to be intelligent, to be active. So that, people tell you, oh, they're leaders. No, you are the leader. If you are a leader, nobody can step to you and just throw anything at you. Right?
I think right along with the sheepishness, I think it also has to do a lot with fear. I feel like America's come a long way already, because it wasn't always as free as it is today. There's been a lot of fights. There's been a lot of standing up to big powers, and back home, we're still learning to do that. When you think about when we first became independent, even until today, we have, people still have strong, or I guess nations still have very, very strong holds on African countries. So there's that. And then there's the citizens just being afraid to step up. I don't know. It's very ruthless back home. You mess up one time and, you can get your head cut off. So there's also the reality of that. I feel like if that was the same here, a lot less people would be empowered to stand up. Which is why when you see like the NSARS and you see Nigeria, and of course this is not something that's just starting today. It's people have been protesting for long, but when you see people actually stand up like that, it's like you have a big sense of pride because it's not easy for sure. So there's a lot of fear, I think, when it comes to just people standing up to these leaders that don't deserve to be there, and have been there for way too long already.
What do you think is not to cut in your view, what do you think is predicating that fear? What's the source of the fear?
I don't know, maybe like when people have power, say for example, like power in terms of money, in terms of connections, there's that. When people have that over you, it's very easy to be to feel powerless, to feel as if you don't have, you're not equipped to do more than you currently are. And again, like I said, it's not something that is just starting today. It's something it's a mindset thing that we've had for years and years, and we're continually oppressed by that same mindset.
Okay, so I'm going to stay on you since you're the old lady here. I'm not hogging your show. I guess it's very dear to me. It's very important to me. It's actually the brainchild of why my business exists. Mm-hmm. So the mindset, you said something that's key, okay? And I can tell you for a fact that the mindset comes from indoctrination. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's based on my research, based on my experience. To begin with, you're the first, when you're born, what are you told? You're told that you're not enough. Mm-hmm. Okay, the first thing you tell you that you have sinned and fallen short of the kingdom of heaven. So constantly, you basically, and religion has taken over the entire continent of Africa. And if you see, there are two forces in Africa which are controlling Africa: politicians and the religious.
Yep.
People look at these men of God like they're gods. You look at these politicians like they're gods. So guess what happens when people now start thinking or start accepting the fact that indeed in my tribe, in my Ewe tribe, I come from Ghana, the Ewe side. There's something they say. They say that what does that mean? It means that you are the creator you seek. Right? So if our people go back to that, they go back to that idea that you are the creator you seek, what's going to happen? Now, I'm not going to be looking forward to somebody else to lead me to heaven because I know I'm already in heaven. Okay, and when you take that away, the money and that is there. But you see what is happening in Nigeria? All of a sudden, people is like, you know what? We don't care what money you have. We don't care how many mansions you have. There are more of us than there are you. So you are going to do what we want, or we will make it hard for you.
Which comes with unity, with everybody being on the same page to begin with. Because if one person agrees and then the people don't, then it's not going to happen.
But it's infectious. For instance, I'll use soccer as Marcus Rashford. He starts his project. Now you have all these people jumping on, donating money, donating their time. It's infectious.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that's what I'm saying. It's extremely important that the individual, you have to be a leader. You have to understand that you are a leader. You are a born leader. You have to stand strong. You have to not believe it, know it, and then make it manifest. Once you start doing that, I'm telling you, people are going to start saying, "Who does he think he is?" Now you know. You guys say you know everything, and you understand. But the minute I've been through a lot for me to get here. But the minute you start doing it, okay, it becomes infectious. Now everywhere I go, everybody calls me bizarre. Why? Because I'm bizarre. And when you do that, it becomes real. So, and that's what Africa needs right now. I think our people just don't know how powerful the idea of Africa is. Everybody else sees it but us.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good point you just mentioned. Because if you think about it too, if we go back all the way to the scramble for Africa between 1881 and 1914, everybody saw the potential that Africa had. And that's why they would come into the continent and everybody was trying to get a piece of it. And then eventually we started fighting for independence. And then we got independence. But how independent are we today?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at Africa, it's like, countries still depend on, European assistance for a lot of things. We have resources in Africa that we could use to take care of ourselves, but at the same time, we are letting foreign companies and foreign countries come into Africa, extract our resources with their own workers that they bring into the country, and they leave us, practically naked in our own country. So why is it that we're still in this day and age, 21st century, still almost like we're not independent countries?
That's because we're not independent. It's just what it is. I mean, it's just like you treat it like as a child. If a child comes to you and they ask you for something or they're bugging you about something, you can make the child think that they have that thing when they really don't. You can take a toy and hide it from the child and give them another toy and be like, here you go. I'm giving you what I want you to play with, to make it seem like you're getting what you want, but you're really not getting what you want. It's just what it is. It's just a business deal. So they're still getting any and everything, and possibly even more than they were getting when they were still colonizing us at that time. So now it's just a business deal. Oh, I just have to pay this man to get everything I need, and I'm still going to get my vacation home back there whenever I want it and own your land where you can't even own your land. I'm going to come there and own your land and things like that. So I think it hasn't changed at all.
I mean, just kind of going back to what Maya said earlier about, I think you and Mac talked about a little bit about greed. So Africa has democracy, it's in quote because because I don't know how much of democracy we have, but democracy is coming for the people, by the people, whatever that phrase is. You guys know the phrase. So we elect leaders into power, right? But it's almost like we elect them to lead for themselves, not for the people. RC, what do you think, or how does that make you feel, knowing that you put somebody in power to help progress the nation, but despite they're taking it backwards?
Yeah.
Man, it obviously makes me feel horrendous, because as a citizen, you can see when things are going bad and obviously when things are going good. And when things are going really, really, really bad, and then there's nothing you can do to sort of like push change, your hands are tied and you can't do anything. But like my brother was saying, when you get scraps and then you're comfortable with the scraps that you get, you sort of just get stuck in the same place. And for the sake of the conversation, and we're talking about African leaders, it's exactly what that is. For us, especially in Cameroon, we have a president that's been in power since like 1980 something.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
And
before I was born, yeah.
Because I remember I was in the Uber one time, and the Uber driver is from Nigeria. He's like 40. He's older than me. Obviously, he's like in his early 50s. And he was like, "Oh, is that guy still a president in Cameroon?" Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, that guy's been president since I was in nursery school." And I was like, "Bro, I feel you, man. That's when everybody hears that, it's just crazy." And thinking of the fact that the economy and the way of life in Cameroon is just it's just all the way at the bottom, and we can't do anything about it as citizens. So it's really crazy.
And I feel like going back to why multinational companies and all these other nations take advantage of us, it's because of, first of all, the way that we portray ourselves as a continent and as individual countries. If our leaders knew how to behave, they wouldn't take them as a joke. People come in and they do whatever they want. They employ their own workers. They take the money and then they bring it right back and put it back in our countries. And the reason why things like that happen is because our leaders have put up that image of, I don't care. I can be in power for 30 years. Who's going to do anything? So, of course, then people are going to start taking advantage of it that don't even have our best interests as a continent at heart. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it adds to your point, though, because you said we elect our leaders, but we don't elect our leaders. That's the thing. We think, at least in Cameroon, we don't. We think we do, but they just pick. Like the president handpicks who he wants. So we don't even have a voice to pick and choose who we want to represent us. So how can we get what we want? Because he's picking his friends who he thinks is going to be okay to suit his investments and his interests and create for his family. But then the rest of the people don't really get that. So I think until we can fix that where we can actually pick and choose our own leaders without even having the people we pick and choose get killed or get, slandered, their family endangered, things like that. The moment we can actually get to that point, I think that's when we can actually try to see change. But until then, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, there's a gentleman that I hope, I don't know if you guys are aware of him. He's from Ghana, or he was from Ghana. I hope you guys get a chance to experience him. Okay, Sergeant for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, now this guy, no doubt he's the greatest African who ever lived, and it's got nothing to do with him coming from Ghana. Why do I say this? Because he pretty much understood where Africa was pre-independence. He was in a situation in which we are, where we felt helpless. Ghana was the first country south of the Sahara to get independence. He documented how he was able to achieve that. It's in a book called The Revolutionary Path. I'm reading that right now. And I'll tell you that book was written circa 1970. It's still relevant today. Okay. And what is happening in Nigeria is very similar to how they accomplished independence in Ghana. And when it became possible, when you do something, everybody now realizes, oh, it's possible. So guess what happened? 3 years after Ghana attained independence, countless number of countries attained independence in 1960 in Africa. Okay, so number one, we have to take away the idea that we are helpless. We're not helpless. That is a perception that has been created. Number two, what is happening in Africa is by design. It is by design. I can tell you very confidently that when Africa becomes truly what Africa is, Europe will die, especially France. Euro, the UK, okay, Belgium, all these countries, everything that their very existence is predicated on Africa being in the state in which it is. And Africa will continue to be in the state in which it is, especially if you and I, if I say you and I, those of us here who are in the West, who have access to dollars, do not become informed and knowledgeable and indeed interested in the idea of Africa. If we don't do it, it's not going to happen. Why? Because the people in Africa don't have the economic resources to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Okay, what they are doing there is what they can do. But you and I have access to dollars, and that's power. Most people don't know it, but the amount of money that we send home is the second largest source of income for the continent of Africa. That's power. But what it is that we have not focused that power. Because most of us, when we come here, oh yeah, I left Africa, now I'm doing good. I'm focused on fashion. Listen, I like fashion. I like having a good time. I like traveling. I like doing all those things. But if I am not knowledgeable, if I'm not basically alive, okay, then guess what? What is happening on the African continent is going to continue to happen. So we are very powerful.
Mark, so sometimes I don't think it's like left to us being knowledgeable about Africa or not. So for example, like Cameroon, right? Sometimes the Cameroon government will get up and like, close MoneyGram or Western Union for a little bit, right? And so even if we have the money to send back home, right, and make the country better, the government is hindering this progress because them stopping money from us. So for example, if I send money back home to start a business, right? Okay, the business is putting profit in my pocket, right? Or let's say I start something that is not meant to put money in my pocket. It's meant to help the country. Now, when the government is like shutting down means of me to send money back home, like how are we supposed to, help our people back home, right? So sometimes it's not even that we have the money and we don't know what to do. It's like we have the money, we're ready to do it, but our own government is not letting us do it. And that's a very big problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
I
agree. But where there's a will, there's a way. I can tell you that. Where there's a will, I don't know. I'm at that point where this is a life's purpose for me.
Right.
So where there's a will, there's a way. I can tell you that. What the Cameroonian president is doing is divide and conquer. Okay, so first, you're doing it in terms of Francophone and Anglophone. And then there's also the tribal stuff. Okay. But guess what happens? Eventually, and based on my experience, people are hitting me up and inquiring about this. And I've been talking about this for years. But when it gets to the point where it's like what Marcus Rashford is doing, you will find people who will come in and help you do it. Okay, and people are coming up with ideas that I did not think about. For me, so it's about, first of all, having the desire to, that's the first step, having the desire to do something. And when you're willing, okay, you don't have to have all the answers. Okay, the Cameroonian president is able to do what he's doing because he's being propped up by France. Because it's in France's interest for him to be in power. Why was Gaddafi taken out? Because France didn't want Gaddafi to be in power. How is it that Ouattara in La Côte d'Ivoire is able to get a third term? Because France is supporting that. Why is it that Guinea is having a third term president? Because he's in the pocket of France. So you see how everything is connected. But our people don't know. Our people don't know this. So that's why I'm saying that you and I, we have access to this, right? We have access to internet, unlimited internet. Folks back home can't do that. I don't even have a laptop anymore. I just use this for everything, and I get all my information from here. You understand? So it's about, first of all, having the desire and then knowing. Me, I'm very confident. I know that once I have a cause that's bigger than me, that a lot more people are going to benefit from, I can't fail.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Speaking of Africa, right? I feel like Africa's infrastructure is buried underneath it. For example, if you go to the north, you have oil. If you go to the west, you have diamonds. If you go to the south, you have gold. Basically, we have everything in place to be able to create the proper infrastructure for which Africa can self-sustain itself forever, in a sense. But it seems like our leaders don't see it. And I'm going back to what I don't know who said it, but I feel like a foreigner can walk into Africa right now with a briefcase full of cash and a nice suit and get away with anything. So how come it's like they can see it, but our leaders don't see that we have everything that we need?
Our
For
leaders
example-
see it.
For example, look at what's happening in Congo with the kids digging up what's it called?
And Colton and
Is it copper they're digging up? Something.
No, for that's what we use in cell phones.
What pop? Yeah, what?
It's titanium. No, it's not titanium. Let me see.
not Colton.
What is it?
Colton, Coltan.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the conditions of how it's being done, it's like, okay, why is it that you have kids, working for less than $2 a day, some even a month, working that hardship to do something that you can, as a president, can say, I want to put money into this, have a company, train people, go dig it up, and sell it to companies, and help the country. How come this doesn't happen?
You talked about, sorry to interrupt you, Nadia. You talked about our leaders not seeing all the natural resources we have, right? It's not that they don't see it. They see it. They know we have it, right?
Oh man.
But it still comes down to greed, right? Whatever way they're going to be able to send that out of the country and be able to keep the money, that's what they're going to do. And you talk about foreigners coming out, out of the country and coming in, and it's like the foreigners see that there's natural resources. Everybody sees it. The thing is, we don't have tax laws in Africa that work against the foreigners. That's why they can come in and do whatever they want to do whenever they want. But you as an African, if you try to start a business or to use the natural resources, come and see the kind of taxes, the tax laws they're going to put on you, and what's that going to do? That's going to discourage you. Yeah. It's going to make you stop.
Because the Caucasian, the foreigner, is just coming and leaving.
Right.
So they're not competition, right? Number two, they come with a briefcase of money, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to get the immediate money right there.
Right.
Okay. So again, that's why I keep saying that. Trust me, I've done a lot of research. Tell you, I've done a lot of research about this, and we are going about this wrong. And if I say we are going about this wrong, is because we are very fixated on the idea that our leaders. Okay, the minute you say our leaders, it means that we are the sheep, they are the lions. Okay, but knowledge is power. I can tell you that for a fact. Knowledge is power, because the minute you become knowledgeable, you start attracting knowledgeable people to yourself. Right. And then before long, you start basically building a movement. Okay, so now I know that the way to address this, especially in Ghana is like the size of Ohio, but the amount of resources that's in Ghana is ridiculous. Okay, and basically what is happening because the West, Britain, Europe, they've done that. They've created that. Okay, they created a system where Africa will continue to be the fruit basket of the world. Okay, so if you and I who are here, okay, number one, accept that, okay, we are helpless, then guess what happens? We don't do anything. We become toothless mongrels.
I think, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, Nadia. You had a good point.
I don't think it's us feeling selfless. I think a lot of us realize the power that we have, especially as millennials, people who are very educated, people who are very aware. We know the power that we have. I think what we're trying to do for the most part is look at the root cause I don't think there's any way to really break down a greedy system or just a system that's faulty without really looking at where is the problem, what is the actual issue.
Neocolonialism.
Right. And a lot of it takes us back to like what you just said, colonialism, and then entrenched leadership and people who are just given power that they are not trained on how to use. That's where the problem lies. So we know that we have our power. We know that we can make things really come together and unite. The thing is now is like, where exactly do we put that energy and all that, everything that we have to give? What do we tackle first, second, and third? I feel like that's what we're all trying to figure out.
We have to change our minds. And how do you change your mind? Become more knowledgeable. Learn about how the system. And like I was saying, if you start reading Kwame Nkrumah's books, you would see everything that is happening in Africa. He predicted it.
That book is big.
He predicted everything that's happening. He said how he was going to go. Everything that's happening is like the guy was looking into a Pandora box. He predicted how it was going to go. So the solutions are there, but our people just don't know that it's there. We don't even need to do anything. He has this 7-year development plan. Okay? When you're reading that 7-year development plan, it's as if it's from this year. And that thing was written in 1960s. So the solution is there, but it has to start with us. Forgive me, I get very passionate about this because it just doesn't make any sense to me that, like you said, we are millennials, we are educated. There's still some people I talk to, and I'm like, did you really go to school? Were you really taught to think critically? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You get me? So it's us.
So going back to,
I say this very humbly. It tells me why there's a problem. Because number one, we are constantly saying our leaders, when in fact it is us. Okay,
Yeah,
those
so-
leaders came from us. Charity begins at home. It's funny, right?
So going back to the whole
I have a question.
natural resources thing. This one really annoys me the most, right? Because we talk about education and like teaching the youth of the country, and and I like to talk about Cameroon because that's like the one place I know well. Cameroon is like a very good export of timber. But if you look at the benches we have in classrooms in Cameroon,
I knew where that was going.
it's embarrassing. I mean, you see, when you watch CRTV, this is the Cameroon national TV station, right? When they do all those advertisements, when TV is about to open, or however we used to call it, you see all those trucks that are passing by. You see timber, and then you go to class, the windows, the chairs. You guys are laughing.
But it's sad. That's why I'm laughing, man.
It's very sad. It's embarrassing. And then let's move away from timber, right? Let's go. Okay, let's talk airport. Cameroon's airport. If you look at Cameroon's airport, first of all, you go there. There's no air conditioning. The roads are bad. Everything is bad. If people in Cameroon, if the president of Cameroon even had small sense, guess what? He will let people in Cameroon or people even out of Cameroon own airlines in Cameroon. Because once you own airlines, guess what? Those people are going to bring new planes, and they're not going to want their planes to land on those type of runways we have. They're not going to want people to suffer when they come through their airlines. But guess what? The Cameroon government and Cameroon president does not want anybody else to be richer than him. So how will I let you own a plane or an airline in my own country? And
Are you mad?
Exactly. And the Cameroon national airline has what? 3 planes, 2 from China. Even the Chinese don't fly the planes they make. But they're using it as planes for our national airline. And then the other one is a very old Boeing plane. I'm sorry I took this person out.
It's crazy.
I'm putting down Twitter.
I'm done now.
Let me go and call you real quick.
Sorry, I was talking.
The benches
Nadia,
is what
you
got
had
me,
a
man.
question. Go ahead and ask the question, or when Hassan makes his point, I guess.
forgot my question.
I know, I have a point. What's your question?
Okay. I forgot my question, but then I wanted to just piggyback off of what Blacko said. I feel like all of those examples go back to us holding our leaders accountable. We're not saying that people, we don't want to admit that we have a role to play in, but we're saying that our leaders do as well. They put you in positions of leadership service, serve your people. We can't all unify Africa and make Africa great if our leaders are on the same page. If our leaders are not on the same page with us, so they also have some kind of accountability to take for everything that we've done. And so it's going to be very difficult for us to work as one and to even make Africa go anywhere like where we want it to go in the future. So they also have a role to play.
A very big role.
Yeah. The main role. I don't know.
To fix those benches.
You know who I think needs Kwame Nkrumah's book?
Pobia.
Yeah, you know it.
I'm not calling names.
Pobia. Names.
All right, guys. We're gonna dive into our segment, and this segment is called the African Proverb.
Bana ae Africa, ae Africa, oh liberté.
And today's proverb is: milk and honey have different colors, but they share the same house peacefully.
Can you repeat that again?
Milk and honey have different colors, but they share the same house peacefully.
Yeah.
Do they?
This can apply to what's going on in Africa right now. Yeah,
Do they
share the same house? Hold on. Yeah, do they? Since when?
milk and honey?
You guys are overthinking this. Just don't overthink. You don't have to literally dissect it.
I beg, explain it now, because when I'm thinking of milk, I'm thinking cow. When I'm thinking of honey, I'm thinking...
When they say milk, I'm not talking about Nido.
Oh, Bobby milk.
Bobby, yeah.
What milk I'm talking about now? What?
So can you please help them?
This kid, okay, look, when you go to your fridge, look, you see the milk gallon standing there, you turn around, you look at honey, it's just standing there in the bottle. They are not arguing. You're talking about cows and honey.
I mean, some people throw the honey outside though.
Huh?
Yeah.
Not everyone puts the honey in the fridge.
But anyway,
you're overthinking it. Let's move on.
We get it.
Can you explain the thing now? I'm not the only one that's going to be overthinking it. Can you explain? Nadia, please, can you explain this to me?
Why me? Please. I wasn't overthinking it. You're the one who decided to overthink.
That's why I say explain it to me now. I don't understand.
It basically means that I'm different from you, but we can live in the same house. We can work together.
Mm-hmm. Change your thinking. Work together.
Somebody told us.
That's all you have to say.
You are dissecting like a distinct doctor.
You that went to Sacred Heart. You have no sense.
I wasn't dissecting anything. That's the problem. I was just saying milk and honey.
You have no sense. Wow.
Look at you.
Somebody could have.
Anyway, guys. So the African Union, as you know it, was established in 2002. And its purpose is to promote unity and solidarity of African states, to spur economic development, and to promote international cooperation. But let me ask you guys this question, right? Whenever there's a problem in Africa, you never hear about the African Union. Everybody's jumping to the UN. Like, UN, come and help. UN, come and help. United Nations, come and help. How come everybody seems to skip the African Union? Or is it just there to sit around and eat money? Or what is its purpose? Like, what is it doing for Africa?
Nothing.
That
should be the quickest question ever.
And funny enough, I was talking to my brother about this not too long ago, right? So the African Union, if you look at the African Union, it's just a bunch of heads of states from the different African countries in the Union, right? So compared to like the UN, where it's like the president or the secretary general of the UN has nothing to do whatever country he's from. He's not like the president of it. So basically, if you look at the African Union, when they have a meeting, it's just those different African presidents, the ones that can make it. Because I don't think Paul Biya has ever even gone to one.
Is that when it's Switzerland?
It's just the meeting for them to just come and sit, right, and meet each other, and then at the end of the day they go back home. So what do you expect them to to help when it's time to help? They basically do nothing. And the way Mark is looking, Mark, just tell us, man. Mark is itching to tell us about this. It's like he's so frustrated.
It's a toothless mongrel. That's what it is. It's just a window dressing. That's what it is.
Right. Exactly.
It's a window dressing. It's more like a retreat for them. They go, they meet, they talk about whatever it is, chase more girls, and come home. That's just what it is.
Chase more girls.
Okay, and they have to appear to be doing something. Okay, most people don't realize it, but the African Union was formed in 1963.
That was the old one.
That's the old one. And recently, and glad we're talking about it, they've enacted this new organism that I want to call organism. It's called the African Free Trade Area. Okay, so all of us here, this is what I'm talking about. What that means is that Africa is going to look more and more like the United States of America. Okay, it means that it's going to be much easier for you to move within the continent of Africa. At least now that about 24 countries have signed onto it. So if you are in business, let's say you are into logistics, you're into import and export, you're not just looking at Cameroon. So maybe what Cameroon is closing its borders, I don't think Cameroon is part of it for all the right reasons or wrong reasons. Okay? But the way to handle, you see, we have to start looking at Africa in terms of one continent instead of me looking at it like I'm from Ghana. So I'm looking, everything I'm doing now is to put myself in a position where in the coming months and years, I'll be able to travel the length and breadth of Africa. That's what I'm doing. Okay. And if you look at it as a whole continent, I guarantee you, it changes your approach. It changes everything. So then if you look at it as a whole continent, what has happened in Cameroon becomes minuscule. It becomes something small. You understand? So that is where everything is going towards. So that free trade thing is something we have to take advantage of, because guess what? The Chinese are taking advantage of it. Come next year, when this thing goes live, you will see how quickly our resources will get taken away. So now it's not just China. Now the United States is fighting, UK is fighting, and then we Africans, we are just spectators.
Watching it. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the whole idea of traveling, and I feel like that comes down to education, because they, just like in Europe, where you have open borders, you can travel from Belgium to Netherlands, you can just drive to Paris if you want to, because everybody at the borders, they know the rules, they know about all the different agreements. Now, if you, for example, if that happens next year, how many people at these borders won't stop you and say, papers, or even if you tell them that this is what the agreement is saying, that we are allowed to pass through this border because of set agreement, how many of these people at this border would say, okay, go ahead, there's a fit,
like you said, it's education, right? It's education. It's like even here, when the cop stops you, like, and they know that you're knowledgeable, they become afraid. You see, knowledge is power, and I'll say this anyway. For instance, I talk to some of these men of God, and I start saying certain things, and then they realize, oh, this is not the one to mess with, because they know you are knowledgeable. They know what you're saying is true. You see, half the time, like she was saying, they know, but they are feeding on your ignorance, because they know your ignorance makes you fearful.
Right.
So if you're knowledgeable,
so I actually disagree with that, though.
And they know that, oh, this guy knows, it's okay, yeah, let him go. Because you know you can
I
get
disagree with that.
It's going to be knowledge, and that's where you and I come. So if you know about it, you teach one, you reach one, you teach one. And before you realize, everybody knows.
That only works in the Western world.
Oh, it works in Africa.
Yeah.
Carson
I don't think it
disagrees.
works anywhere. I completely disagree with that. It's
It
like
does.
power is power. Knowledge is not power.
It does.
You can know your stuff, but I can still have power over you. And just because you know doesn't change that I still have power over you. So you can educate that policeman that stops you, but he can still arrest you back in Africa. And you're stuck, and you can't do anything about it.
But you see how what is happening in Nigeria is a perfect example. Okay, what is happening in Nigeria is a perfect example. Regardless, some of us are going to get killed. But the question is, how long must this continue? Because we are at an inflection point now. A time is going to come. It will be so far gone, we can't do anything about it. Because in Ghana, where I come from, the gap between the rich, I was in Ghana in 2015 for my sister's wedding. And I was amazed the amount of wealth that a small number of people have in Ghana. The gap is widening. So if we just get arrested by that whole idea of there's no hope, then we become inactive. Okay, and my biggest fear is that in Ghana, what is happening in Guinea is going to happen. That president, if he wins come December, he's going to seek a third term. That guy is over 80 years old.
He already won.
I mean, in Ghana, he's going to try and go for a second term. So it's something you realize that now Cote d'Ivoire has done it. Guinea has done it. So it's become a trend. So I get it. It's all born out of our experience. This is how we know things to be. So we are naturally going to accept that this is how it's going to be.
It's like Nadia said in the beginning about a mindset. It's like even there are some things that when for example when I was back in Cameroon, though when I left Cameroon I was like only 14, but there are certain things that you grow up in Cameroon and you see and they're just okay with you, right? Because that's just how it's always been, and you think that's probably how it's going to be. And then now when you come to America, right, and you see how people are united when it comes to certain things and people can actually stand up and speak for themselves, certain things back home don't start to not make sense anymore. You're like, I can't believe people live this way. Like, I can't believe people are like, but sometimes that's just all they've seen, and they're just, it is just what it is at that point. So knowledge is power.
I mean, even if that's all you've seen, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. Come on, bro, Malik. Come on.
Now, this guy. Now, what I'm saying is, like, even if that's all you've seen, right? Even that's all you've seen, you still know what's wrong and what's right. Like, as a child, you know right from wrong. No matter, like, killing someone's wrong, things like that. So you have that knowledge already, knowing that there's absolutely something not right with this situation here. But it's just having the courage to change that thing. Now, you're saying knowledge is power. We know everything is wrong. We know that, hey, what they're doing is not right. But it's all about us coming together. So I'm not saying that because we have that information. We all have that information. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is, we have it all. But we still don't have the power because we're not together. So when we're saying knowledge is power, I don't think that's the case, because we already have the knowledge. We still don't have the power. We need to do something with that knowledge that we have. And that to me is the difference.
I think
You see what is happening here?
I think
I'm
knowledge
from Ghana.
is
You guys are from Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
All right? This is it right here. You said something, I said something, we bite off each other. Okay, iron sharpen iron. This is it right here. It's really not that complicated. The union that you're talking about, this is it right here. Okay? You are doing something, I push it. I'm doing something, you push it. Before you realize, we've created something that is infectious. We have an NSAS going, and it's not even violent. You see, now you said it, knowledge is there, and I'm saying this because I've done it, and it's true, it works. When you start interacting with people and start not caring what people think about you, when you start not being afraid to be the odd one out, okay? Because trust me, when you start talking like the way we are talking, there are some people who think, oh, he's not cool anymore. Or he's saying things against Christianity. He's saying things against Islam. He's saying things against these so-called leaders that we have. So guess what happens? You're not cool anyway. And I shed all of that. And now those same people are coming and they are applauding. Okay, so the knowledge is there. Yes, you're right. The knowledge is there, but knowledge, like manure, if not used, is useless.
Yep. Nadia,
Oh,
what were you saying?
Yeah,
I
please, Nadia, I'm
think
sorry.
I think it's okay. I think knowledge is power only applies to, like you just ended, only applies to when you can use that knowledge to your advantage. Or when that knowledge can be used, period. Here we're in a better position to use what we know to help ourselves. But then, but then back home, it's a completely different story. You can, if you want to, you know the whole dictionary, but if you can't use it to your advantage, or if maybe this, because like I said, we are the problem, but then the system that we're in also is the problem. So if you are using that knowledge to your advantage and it's good, but if the system doesn't allow you or puts barriers in places for you to not allow you to use that knowledge, and extract power from that, then knowledge is not power.
Right.
So it really just depends, I guess, on the context of it. But it's very possible to take knowledge, like you just said when you ended, to take knowledge and transform it into power. But then we all have to be on one mindset if that's going to happen. One person is not going to kickstart something and nobody's going to follow up or follow with that person and think that something's going to happen.
Right.
Same with our leaders, same with people who are in opposition. If we start something and they don't join us, it's going to be very, very difficult for the knowledge to be power, or knowledge is not going to be power at all.
Yeah.
So unity comes into play. A lot of things come into play when you talk about knowledge and power, I think.
Absolutely.
Also, I think to piggyback off what Nadia and Carson said, I also agree that obviously knowledge is power, but if you, like Nadia said, if you don't have the tools to be able to use that knowledge, the power is not there. But also, I'm speaking from a Cameroonian perspective. For example, in Cameroon, corruption is like a big thing, right? So if it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, or if you're a doctor, or how many titles you have in front of your name, at some point you're gonna have to say, okay, this is what I want. I can't have you with my knowledge. I'm gonna bribe you. I'm gonna give you some money to get what I need. So that is the power that's already in place. I'm speaking for Cameroon specifically. So in that sense, you can have all the knowledge that you want. Or like, for example, when so you said the other day, talking about what's happening in Nigeria, you have all the artists and celebrities coming out and speaking, and like Davido, and the police people like rally around these people. You feel me? The police can't do anything, but if you go to Cameroon, you talk to Tizzy Panchak, and Tizzy Panchak talk to a policeman.
If you're slap, if you're pissed.
They will slap him because what? That's power. So we have the knowledge. We have all this information. We know that, okay, what we, maybe it took so long for us, but we know that for now, we know that, okay, the conditions that we're in right now are not like ideal. We don't want to be in these conditions anymore. But we have that knowledge. But the power that has already been placed in the system, like Nadia said, the system is already corrupted and it's already messed up. So as Carson said, if we can't get together as a people and try to force ourselves out of that power, or like because they say there's number and strength, there's strength in numbers, right? So if that number is not there, we can't overcome that power that's already been set aside, that keeps us in place or in check because of the system. So knowledge is key. Knowledge is power, but if you can't express that knowledge or like use it in an influential way, if the system is not built for that, then you might as well. It's pretty much, I won't say nothing, but you can't do anything at all.
Right on.
And
Very
then,
good point.
And then there's also the issue of a lot of people back home not even having the knowledge to begin with. When you think about the ways in which when you think about the ways in which people are going about things, for example, like burning down schools, like you're angry at the government and then you burn down schools, the same thing that's supposed to build you. It becomes counterproductive. The same thing with what happened 2-3 days within this week, where you're angry at your government, and then you're killing your children, the future of your country. So you start to question: do our people even have the knowledge to begin with? Like, what are we even? I don't know. I don't want to call it not educated or not intelligent, but like, what are we doing with what we know, or do we even know anything? Because if we're able to self-destruct in protest of things that are supposed to be going right for us, then it makes no sense, because then it's counterproductive, because we're self-destructing. So it's just a lot. It's just a lot.
Simply just biting your nose to spite your face. It's just when you
Yeah.
get angry, you do dumb stuff. Biting your nose to spite your face. When you get angry, you do dumb stuff. But I think you kind of proved Mac's point that, having that knowledge to have the self-restraint is the first step to, the power. So I think we can agree on that. Knowledge is the first step to power. I won't necessarily say it's power, but it's the first step to power.
So
I agree.
I'm not fond of biblical, analogies, but I don't know if you guys remember the Arab Spring. You all remember what happened
Can you repeat that?
in northern Arab, where Tunisia, Egypt, even it almost affected Algeria. It started in one country, and then it went all across. Dictatorships all across the northern part of Africa were toppled. It started with knowledge, okay? And then there's something, I keep saying that for things to change in Africa, it's going to be because those of us here, which is those of us on this podcast right now, and those of us in the diaspora, who are going to bring that change. One, because we have the economic wherewithal, okay? We have the knowledge because we've come here and we've seen how things can be well done. Why, if something has a very well-structured system, things work. And also there's something in the Bible that said, they cast a stone, okay, which was not part of the statue. Okay, and where was the stone hit? It was used to hit the feet, which was both what? Iron and clay. So in Africa, there are certain governments, like what is in Cameroon, which is very totalitarian. And then there are places like Ghana, in Nigeria, which are not overly totalitarian. Now, those ones are where we are supposed to focus, right? So if we, the ones who are here, accept that responsibility that, listen, we have a mission and we have a critical assignment to liberate our people, all right? And we're not going to do it violently. We don't have to do this violently. China is taking over the world, and it's taking over the world not violently. It's doing it through business.
Meditation.
Which is what my business is, Black Star Revolution. That's what it is. So we are using business, we are using knowledge, and then you are helping to impart. Those are the three things that are the core of my business. So that is it. And I get it. This is very possible for us to say that, you know what, this is not possible. Right? I know it's not true. So we have to be that stone which was cut from a different rock and thrown at the continent. Okay? And that stone is imbued with knowledge. It's really that simple. You understand? If you don't know that, if I don't know that, then I become helpless, basically.
Right.
And I have a child whose mom is not African. So if I don't do this, then my child is lost.
That's true. That makes
Because she will not be accepted here in the United States of America, and she won't have a home to go back to. So you see that this is very personal for me. It's extremely important to me that this happens, and I know it's very possible. If China can do it, we can do. Most people don't realize that China, as of 1974, was one of the poorest countries on the face of this earth. How are they able to do it? We can just learn what they did and do the same thing.
Too much work.
But now look at them. They have more billionaires than any country in this world.
Yeah.
So it's very doable.
They
and
own
they
that
don't even have the
planet.
resources to keep it going.
And then,
So what is wrong if Nadia is a billionaire?
oh,
Hey, what's wrong if I'm a billionaire?
Or your dress alone will take everything. Man.
Hey,
Yeah, products.
Hey, it's natural, man,
So-
natural.
I know, I love that. If I wasn't bald, I'd have dreads too.
Aristide, you made some good points. So I'm gonna ask you what you think about this this quote. One of my friends on Twitter were talking about the whole NSARS movement and what's going on in Cameroon. He said, "Quote: people who were alive at independence are the ones ruling us today.
Can you please repeat that?
Say that again.
People who were alive during independence are the ones ruling us today.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Worst.
That's a bad thing because they got complacent. Well, not necessarily complacent. They got fooled. They got bamboozled
Whitewash.
because independence, it really didn't happen. They just took the people outside of where we could see them, and while they're still controlling the country, using strings, like pretty much as a puppet master. They turned from, oh, I'm gonna sit there and control you guys myself, or I'm just gonna control the person that's controlling you in that situation. So, like Max said, we have to start changing our mindset, and part of changing our mindset is changing the future, is dealing with the youth, making sure that they have the right mindset going up. They didn't make sure that the people underneath them or that came after them had the right mindset. We're starting to realize that, and we're actually starting to see if we can try to, protest things like that and show the younger people, the younger generation, up until a certain extent, that, this is not what life should be. So those people during independence, they completely were useless in this situation because they let someone just completely fool them. And now they're sitting there complaining, oh, this is not what it should be. Well, you had the chance to change it. When you're actually in that position to actually enact that change and, continue through with it, you just stop. So I think, yes, they are completely at fault for this.
Hassan, please don't ever cut your dreads because you end up like Samson, but you have sense.
I was gonna say that.
Yo.
Wow.
Man, so watch out for Delilah, bro. But I think.
Oh man.
But what you say, Carson, it's obviously it's facts what you said, right? And you said that these people now they're complaining and they're saying that, they're complaining and saying that things are not how it's supposed to be. But the truth of the matter is they're not the ones complaining. It's the younger generation that are complaining. It's like they're sat up there and they're just comfortable where they're at. They're just comfortable being like pawns in the bigger scheme. You feel me? So we're the ones who are feeling the effects of everything that they're doing. So up there they're fine, but now us as youngins and younger generation, we're growing up and we're starting to realize, okay, something is not right here. You feel me? Then now we start to speak up. That's when they try to act like they're trying to figure out what's going on. But to answer your question more directly, Bell, I think there's a huge problem, obviously, because it's a newer generation, and it's 2020, it's the 21st century, all of that stuff. So newer ideals and the world is only improving. So we can't keep having people in power who were in their prime in the 80s or the 70s. People who can't even walk, bro. I just saw a video of Paul Biya in the presidential palace in France, and he can barely walk. They had to hold his hand, and it's like, is this when you look at that picture? Because when you look at a leader, or when you look at somebody who's supposed to lead you as a nation, you look at somebody who has charisma, who is like strong. When presidents get sick, they don't want to tell the public because they're like, people are gonna think I'm weak. How am I gonna look at that man as my president? He can barely walk up 2 flights of stairs and then believe in him. You feel me? It's ridiculous.
One thing I noticed, when something happens, say in America, like they say they shoot children in a school, and then you have like say Barack or Trump they come up and then they speak to the nation. A lot of times you don't see them reading off of something. You see them kind of looking into the camera and then they're talking from their hearts. Any issue back home and then a president has to address their people, literally they barely make eye contact with, let's say the camera was representing us, the people, they barely make eye contact with the people. They're just constantly, their heads are down. They're constantly just reading off of what somebody else wrote for them. So you can't really tell how, is it really coming from your heart, or are you just reciting a poem or a letter that somebody else wrote for you to say, maybe for good PR or something? So we really have a long way to go in the way that we're led, in the way that the leaders think that some rules or some laws are supposed to be, and the way that they think they're not supposed to be. So going back to accountability, they really, really have to check that, because if not, it's just not going to work.
I think this is a big reason why you see a lot of a lot of youths have become activists, online and also in the streets because of everything you guys are talking about. For example, the Minister of Youth Affairs in Cameroon is in his 50s. So how exactly can he relate to what the youth are going through? So it's just this.
He's a youth.
He's a youth, bro.
He's a youth.
He's a youth.
But speaking of leaders, though, I know one of my favorite leaders, Thomas Sankara, he said something that really should be what most leaders should kind of strive to do for their people. He said, "I want people to remember me as someone whose life has been helpful to humanity." So being in that place of power, you have to, it's like you're there at the service of the people, not for yourself, because that's what leaders today are doing. They're there for themselves, not for the people. So just go around and tell me about your favorite leader, one of your favorite African leaders that,
We already know Mac's own.
You can say Gaddafi if you want to. It's okay. You can say.
We already know Mac. We already know Mac.
Of course not. I'm saying you can say it. So, favorite leaders. Ladies first. Say ladies first. Mugabe.
Lazarus.
Favorite leaders. Favorite African leaders?
Yeah.
Jeez. Maybe Nelson Mandela.
Why is that?
Because of his fights against apartheid, and even though it was a little violent, very atrocities left and right, but I think he might be one of the only ones that really stepped up as someone who's not a millennial and really tried to liberate his people. I think that might be it for me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Young man.
Well, my favorite leader is Jesus Christ, leading us to salvation.
Hey.
First and foremost.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm gonna still.
You're not lying though.
That's
Jesus Christ has more countries in Africa.
When you said you meant president, right? It has to be president, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
It just has to be president. Anyhow, but I think I'm gonna steal Bell's answer, Thomas Sankara, because obviously Bell loves him, and because of that, I've been seeing a whole bunch of YouTube videos every couple of now and then. Check this out. But I've gotten to learn about who he was as a leader. He was tragically gone too soon. But yeah, I think he was a great leader, and he led by example, literally. So that's why I liked him, and it seems like it would have been a good model to his ideals might have been or could be a good model for a lot of nations.
Carlson, ladies first, so you go first, man.
What? Why?
Bruh.
Bruh. Yeah, I'm already.
I mean, you got long hair and everything, so.
Carson, you're on.
He's going to say Naira Marley.
Guys, I can't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Hi, yeah, lucky.
I was cursing as hell, man.
The stuff I said. Man.
I know exactly what you said, bro.
What did I say?
I said Malian Ganga, Naira Marley.
Boy.
What's understood does not have to be repeated.
Nah. What I was gonna say is, for me, I had to go Nelson Mandela as well, because he's not just one of the most impactful leaders in Africa. He's one of the most impactful leaders in history. So I would say that what he did, going to jail for 27 years, things like that, that would actually be, very inspirational, because he sacrificed, and that's ultimately what a leader has to do, sacrifice. And he did that. Yeah, but if I had to pick a second person, I'd probably say Patrice Lumumba, not as recognized as most other people. And obviously he paid for it with his life eventually as well. But then he also accomplished a lot of things for Congo as well too. So I would say that would be a second option.
Nice.
For me, it's of course it's quite obvious. It's Kwame Nkrumah. There's no doubt about it. Why? Because not only was he inspirational, um, he was very knowledgeable. He understood the ways of the white man. Or he understood the ways of imperialism. He understood the ways of colonialism, and he was able to predict what was going to happen. It's happening right now, and he even knows what's going to happen after that. And more importantly, he was able to postulate how we can actually solve the problem. And all these solutions are in his books. It's right there. What's his name is using it. Paul Kagame is using it, and we see what's happening in Rwanda. Most people don't realize it, but Kagame is doing exactly what Kwame Nkrumah was saying people should do. Okay, he's not a true Democrat, but guess what is happening in Rwanda? They are winning, and Rwanda doesn't have as many resources as say Cameroon or Ghana. So how are they able to do it and we can't? So it has to be Kwame Nkrumah for me, and then of course Paul Kagame, and my other favorite is what everybody is saying, Thomas Sankara. I mean, when he was there, my dad was in the army. I got to see him as a kid, so it's for me. He's a very inspirational guy, and I hope someday we can all become men of what countries of Africa upright people, right? That's what we call it there.
Upright people, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yep. Well, like everybody has said, my favorite is Thomas Sankara too. And one of the main reasons why I like him is because he was one of the guys who advocated for, staying away from the Western world, right? And basically advocating for the use of things that were made in his country, Burkina Faso. And one thing that was like quite intriguing to me was that he said that at least one day of the week, the male in the house should be able to do like chores that the woman will regularly do, just so that they can know how it feels. And I thought, and I was like, wow, like even back then, but I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
So. I wonder if Bell knew that before he picked that.
Chef, a whole chef like me, I'm cool. We're talking about. So guys, what are your goals for Africa? Like, what do you want Africa to look like? Personally, I think, like all of us have said today, we need to change our mindset. We need to come together. We need to harvest our natural resources and create an Africa for Africans. That's my goal for
Africa. Hey, next now, what are you guys' goals? You guys talk.
I'll keep it short and sweet. For it to be better than it was before. I'll take any progress we can get right now.
You're gonna say you want Gaddafi's Tunisia.
For me, I'm gonna start with my beloved Cameroon. I want to be able to go home and not have to worry about being kidnapped and not have to worry about going to my hometown and worrying about people, trying to kill me because I'm from the States. I want a peaceful Cameroon. I want a peaceful Africa. And I want somewhere that everybody's welcome to, that's
visit PNU.
I want a self-sustainable Africa. Africa that can
That's a
provide
good one.
itself.
I can go. Carson, are
well,
you
we
going?
can though.
I can go? Okay. So what I want is that I feel as though Africa is they're saturated with a lot of brilliant minds. But then a lot of times those brilliant minds leave out of the continent and then settle somewhere else and invest in someone else's infrastructure. So I think if we can find a way, I don't know if incentives that we can create for people, for brilliant minds to stay in the continent, or for people who leave out and get educated and find out all these amazing things that they can do. If we can find a way to bring them back to the continent to contribute, then I think it will make a really big difference. So my hope is that one day or as progressively people would go back in and reinvest in the continent?
You know, you actually set me up real good because it's
Hey.
exactly what I was going to say. That's what's up. High five. So for me, my desire for Africa is for it to be heaven on earth. Everything shows that truly is what it is. It's heaven on earth. Everything we have. Africa is the only continent that does not need to do trade with any other continent. It has everything. So that's my desire. And the way I intend to make that happen is through my startup, the Black Star Revolution, which I call Bizarre. And this is what it is. The mission is for us to unite and emancipate Africans and the African diaspora. We accomplish this by inspiring pride and uplifting Africans and the African diaspora via knowledge, business, and direct social impact in the lives of the most impoverished. Okay, so the vision is to be a truly authentic brand which remains grounded and connected to Africa and restores dignity to Africans in the African diaspora. I'm very convinced, without a doubt, that it's very possible. If Sankara can do it in small Burkina Faso without the resources, then those of us here can do it as well. And I don't even need to become a president to do it. By virtue of just connecting with souls like you. Business is everything. Most people don't realize how powerful business is. Okay, so if I can connect with powerful spirits like you, souls like you, and then we have an agenda, I can tell you that we can make it where now sports, okay, this is just apparel now. It's going to be sports, it's going to be music, it's going to be culinary, it's going to be tourism. All these things can come about if we have the platform and we have the desire to make it happen. And it's not even about the money. How much money can one person spend anyway? Mm. Okay, and the way we are doing it is this. So, for instance, the brand, this is the logo, right? Black Star Revolution. Now, we sell apparel. We're going to take 20%.
Stand up again. Stand up again. Let's see it. Come on. There we go.
So, basically, we have apparel. It could be the hoodie that you're wearing, the shirt that you're wearing, right? Let me ask you, the hoodie you bought, if you bought it for $50, how much of that money went back to support anything in Africa? Zero. Okay. If you buy a product from Black Star Revolution, Bizarre, 20% of that will go to fund social impact programs all over Africa. 20%. That's a lot. Okay. So I'm not saying don't buy your Gucci, yes, still buy it. All right. But like Jay-Z said, for each Gucci, buy 2 Fubu.
Hey.
It's really that simple. This is what I mean by us changing our minds and taking action. If we can do that, I guarantee you, we can definitely do a whole lot of change in Africa. And I'm inviting all of you to the Zoom lunch, which will happen on Sunday. He will send you the invite. It's going to be less than 40 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to go a little bit into what Bizarre is, what the purpose is. I'll give you a chance to be an affiliate. If you become an ambassador, you make a $60 purchase, you get a hat or a shirt or whatever you want, combination, you want 2 shirts, you can get that. And then we'll take 20%, give it to social impact programs. And then you as an affiliate for the lifetime will have 5% of every sale that you influence. So 1,000 people if you're able to inspire them to make purchases, you make 5% off that. So you see, we are keeping the wealth within the family. That's just what it is. Now, if you take that 5% and you want to contribute that towards some goal that is yours, that's on you. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So it's very, very doable. Okay, it's very doable. It's just little things like this. Okay, and then before you know, you're taking over. And then those presidents can't do anything.
I have a question.
The Black Star of Africa.
Quick question. Quick question. So you mentioned heaven on earth. You want Africa to be what could be a heaven on earth. My question is, do you think that we are going to live long enough to see that?
Well, you see, heaven is within you.
Good answer.
Right? Heaven is within you. Heaven is a space of great expectations or great experiences. So if you close your eyes right now and you feel bliss, you're in heaven.
But is that the heaven that you describe when you talk about Africa being a heaven? Within?
Where is a physical experience as well?
Okay.
It's not just you see, what I'm talking about you can close. I meditate a lot, so you can close your eyes and then feel bliss. That's heaven, right? But where you don't, like he said, you don't have to worry about going back home. Okay, where I'm having a good time and I'm seeing somebody else having a bad time. I want to where everybody can have access so people can really express themselves the way they want to express themselves. Because if I'm hungry, I can only do so much. So if I can create an avenue where people can actually experience 10% of those things that I experience right now, then I think I've done what Thomas Sankara wanted to do.
I like that. That's good
I'll give you an
closure.
example. A friend of mine works at a polyclinic, right? She calls me, says, at the polyclinic, they don't have any mosquito nets. So people come there to get healed. They put them there. And then before they leave, they get more malaria. You came from one disease, get cured, and then you leave with something else. I send them $100, and they put mosquito nets all over the hospital. So this is what I'm talking about. So if you make a purchase and then you know that, okay, fine, my $100 purchase, $20 of that was used to fund something in Cameroon. That is powerful. I was going to buy a shirt anyway.
And
To get off topic a little bit, do you guys remember those books back when we were younger that used to show us what heaven was like? Animals just
Oh yeah,
walk.
with the gates and everything,
With the graves
white
and
gates.
everything.
yep.
Oh my God. Funny thing is, all those people in that book were white, and there was no black man. We're trying to say
I know.
Yep.
That's a topic for another day,
All
though.
the good people are white, and all the bad people are dark looking. That's the programming. When you look at the angel who's standing on the devil is black, the angel is white.
Mm.
That's where you and I come in. Right?
Speak for yourself. I'm not the devil. I'm sorry. That's a topic for another day, anyways.
All right, Nadia, how can our guests get in contact with you?
Nadia, why do you look so surprised? Hey, she's like,
Because he took me off guard. I'm like, wait, what is going on here? First, you say, give us a closing speech. Huh?
can you give us a closing speech though, please?
No, just Nadia Ekeme on Instagram, and then I'm nowhere else.
All right, Mac, how can our audience get in contact with you?
So on Instagram, at Kelly the Levitator, at KELI the Levitator.
Can you repeat that one more time?
At KELI the Levitator. When you spell Yes Kelly, it would come up. And then on Facebook,
Gotcha.
it was BSR. If you just type BSR, you find me. If you type Kelly, KELI KETO, that should bring me up. Okay.
Gotcha.
For the
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. This has been another wonderful episode of Now You Know Podcast. It was a very good conversation. We talked about the goods and the bad about our beloved Africa and what we hope it can be in the years to come. On behalf of the whole crew, my name is Bell, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace out.